Hi, this is Volans, and in this short series of video sessions, I'm going to be taking a look at the amazing Maag MAGNUM-K compressor. This single rack unit isn't just a compressor, it packs a number of different innovative features and actually several different processors, and we'll be taking a look at all of this across different scenarios with different kinds of audio. Now before we start, I wanted to let you know to keep an eye on the units at the bottom of the screen here. Now these will update in real time, giving you an overview of the settings I'm using at any given time. In this final session, we're taking a look at my favourite subject, mastering. Before we go over to the hardware, I wanted to show you what setup I've got here in Logic and how we're running the audio through the units. Now I've got a 24-bit pre-master of a track I'm working on in another video, and this has got no treatment on it at all. It's going out of an I/O plugin from my Apollo to the stereo pair MAGNUM-Ks and then back into Logic, and that's it. There's 2 meters, so you can have a look at levels and frequency response, but really there's no other processing. So now we know what's happening in Logic and how we've routed the MAGNUM-Ks. Let's move over to the hardware here and take a look at the settings that we've got in this mastering session. Now it's pretty straightforward. I've got some input gain ramped into the units, not much, just enough to drive the compressors a little harder than they were at 0. But the compression is actually pretty mild. Now I've got a reasonable amount of detection going on with the threshold quite high. You'll notice that the side chains are 80 Hz. That's just to make sure that the kick and the bass there aren't triggering too much compression. But really, if you look at the compression range and the ratio, they're both set to 4 dB on the compression range, so only 4 dB of compression can take place, and then we've got pretty low ratio setting. The attack and release, moderate, the release is reasonably quick, and we're in feedback mode. Now, something else that's pretty important here, I've got the MAGNUM-K comps in, about halfway, about 12 o'clock setting, and that's really just to round off the snares and anything else happening at 3K that might be making the mix a little harsh. It's really great for this sort of thing during mastering. Moving over to the parallel EQ2s, we've got a touch about 2 dB of 88 Hz and below on the low frequency, and on the airband, the all-important airband, we've got 15K and above at 4 dB. Now that sounds like a lot for a master, but the airband's extremely organic and very forgiving, so you'll notice that this is just a completely different animal to usual mastering EQs where you'd only really be adding 1 or 2 dB. So let's take a listen with it dry at 0% mix, and then at a point I'll mix up to 100%. So here we are back in Logic, and I've got my MAGNUM-Ks activated and strapped across my master bus before my limiter, but I wanted to show you the mastering setup that I was genuinely using on this track that has been bypassed in favour of the MAGNUM-Ks. And I was using 2 different bus compressors at different stages in the chain, and I was using 2 EQs doing various things, mainly removing very low end and very high end with filters, and then these were going into a limiter here. As you can see, this is still active to ensure that we get the right amount of level and that we don't go over. But apart from that, they've all been bypassed, and we've just got our I/O here, which is going straight out of the Apollo and into the MAGNUM-Ks and back. So let's take a quick listen active, and then I'll bypass the MAGNUM-Ks. So you can hear we're adding brightness, we're adding control. It's just a really nice situation, and very few processors in this master bus. Extremely simple, and I'm really happy with the results here. So as you can see, the Magnum-K is an incredibly flexible processor that goes far beyond the capabilities of a traditional compressor. I hope you've been enjoying these sessions and that they've given you some insight into what this incredible processor is capable of. And remember, if you want to check out more products from Maag, you can go straight to their website here. And of course, if you're a fan of the famous airband in the EQ2 and EQ4, you can get both of these products as plugins from the Plugin Alliance website. If you found this useful, remember to check out the videos in the rest of this series, and I'll see you next time.